Welcome to another edition of Will's VG Addiction and my Friday night pickups. Local stuff first. Went out to the sales last week. The weather here in Albuquerque for February has been really good. So people have been out with the garage sales, yard sales, and all that sort of stuff. I got a few things last week. I talked to a guy at a sale. He had a couple PS1s out. He wanted 10 bucks a piece for them. We just had a conversation about video games and collecting and whatnot. And I mentioned to him that the only reason I wanted these, I didn't even care if they worked, is because I'm actually making a coffee table out of the shells, which I will get around to one day. I've been working on that for like 2 years. I've been trying to collect these for cheap, for the shells, for the coffee table, and then use the parts for whatever other little repair projects I got going on. So he decided to give me these two PlayStations for $5 total. Same guy also had a silver GameCube with a memory card, which I don't know where I placed. Also had two controllers, had that GameStop special, which I could care less about, and an official Nintendo GameCube controller, but the cord is badly frayed. I believe he wanted $5 for that, so there was no way I was going to walk away from that. Same day, another guy had a GameCube, no cords, no controllers, no games. It was pretty nasty and grimy, but it cleaned up well. It works. I believe that one was $12. Well, at this point, I think I have more power cords than I have GameCube, so it's not really a huge deal for me to come up on a GameCube by itself and pair it with the stuff that I already have and then move it that way. So $12 is not a bad deal for me. Also found at a later sale a copy of Resident Evil Archives for the Wii. Had to replace the case because it was torn up. It is complete. The inserts, everything is in good condition except the insert, which looks like it has had water or something spilled on it, which is fine, no biggie. And a copy of Playboy the Mansion, and I believe each of these were, well, Resident Evil was $3 and this one was $2. And I had to replace the case on this one too because it was pretty nasty, no manual. One thing I don't run across very often is good Wii games out here. Ran across a guy with a large spindle of games, loose discs about that high. He said that he had gotten them from a Nintendo distributor or something like that. I thought it was BS. I thought he probably stole them or something. Anyway, it doesn't matter. It was mostly shovelware, but he had a small amount of really decent games. He wanted like $10 to $12 for all the Mario games. I think it was like $10 for Donkey Kong. I pulled out the stuff that I wanted and I asked him what he wanted, and he was pricing them individually. So I asked him what he wanted as a group. So I think I did a little bit of unintentional psychological judo with him. I had two separate stacks. One was Mario games, one was the other stuff. So he came at me with this ridiculous number, and then I bundled it all together. I took stuff out and then put it back together and asked him what the prices were, and he looked a little confused, but we wound up settling on $26 for everything. So this is what we got here. I'm going to run through it really quickly, and the camera might not focus, so sorry about that. So we got Mario Kart Wii, we got Super Mario Galaxy, we got new Super Mario Brothers Wii, we got Mario Strikers Charged, we got Super Paper Mario, then Metroid Prime Corruption, and Godzilla Unleashed. Now this one he only wanted $3 for, so I know he didn't know his stuff. This is actually the second time I've run across that Godzilla, and I sold it the first time in hopes that I would find a complete copy out there somewhere, but I think I'm just going to print up the artwork for this one and keep this, because I'm not going to pay $30 to $40 for a complete copy ever, and I don't think I'm going to run across that out in the wild. So holding on to that one. Everything else, I think, with the exception of Metroid Prime, which I have no interest in, I'm going to go ahead and trade off. So after all that, I was doing my regular Saturday errands. I was going grocery shopping and doing all that fun stuff. So while I was waiting in line to check out at a grocery store, I was searching through Facebook and I saw a post for a garage sale. Now in the garage sale, there was a Wii listed for $15, and I could see that it had the retail box under it. So I messaged the lady. I said I'm going to be about 15 minutes. It was actually very close to where I was at right at the time. So paid for my stuff, shot over there, and first thing I saw was the Wii that I was looking for. It's in the box. It has everything that it needs, in pretty decent shape. The only flaw is that the little panel there for whatever these expansion ports are, memory cards of some sort. I don't know. I wasn't really all that into the Wii, but that's missing. It came with Wii Resort Sports, which was actually in the machine. There's a copy of Wii Sports around here somewhere. It came with the manual. And then Wii Fit and Jillian Michaels Fitness Ultimatum 2010. That's where those go. But even more exciting than that is when I rolled up and I saw that, I was talking to the lady's husband, and he said he's going to look for another Wii remote, which was somewhere around the garage. I happened to notice this sitting on the table. This is a Commodore 64. Very cool stuff. I've never actually seen one of these out in the wild. Didn't have one as a kid either. So there was this. There was the disk drive. There was power cable. A power cable. The only two retail cases or whatever you want to call them are the Bard's Tale. Sorry about that glare. And Fight Night. And then also a bunch of floppy disks, which I'm not going to go through individually, but there's nothing all that spectacular in here. Very cool stuff. He wanted 10 bucks for all that, which I thought was amazing. There are a couple serial cables missing, or at least one serial cable that I'm aware of, and maybe a power cord. I'm not sure. Again, I'm not really all that familiar with it, but I'm going to have to track those down at some point. Very excited to get to play those again. I had a Tandy 1000 when I was a kid, or my father did anyway. So, you know, I'm used to the floppy disk, but I think you have to use DOS to get those to work. I'm not sure. Or some sort of DOS type commands to get the games to work. I don't remember. But yeah, I'll definitely be having some fun playing that stuff. A lot of cool games for the C64. And something I saw on eBay that I wasn't familiar with while I was searching for the serial cables and just kind of seeing how much they cost. Apparently there's a way to use an SD card to read games straight from the SD card and play on the Commodore 64. So I might look into that too. Kind of like an EverDrive. Anyway, moving on. So a friend of mine by the name of Valerie, she lives in Colorado now, used to be here locally in Albuquerque, was a big part of our collectors group. She let me know that a friend of hers was selling off a bunch of game stuff so she can go move to Hawaii to live with her boyfriend. One of the games that she had for sale that I wanted was Stubbs the Zombie, and this is a game I've been looking for quite a while. This is complete. It was in okay condition. I had to get it resurfaced, but it works. Definitely happy to have that in my collection now. I've been looking for that for quite a while. That was 24 bucks. Also forgot to mention that that box Wii was 15. Alright, so now on to the online crap. Got another TurboGrafx controller. That was real cheap. 15 bucks I think. I don't remember. Again, if you watched the last video, you know what I'm going to do with that. And I forget what the name of this is. I should go look it up now, but I'm not gonna. This is Downtown Neketsu Baseball Story, something like that. It translates to something like that. But if you're into River City Ransom, you're kind of familiar with the style of game that is. I've actually never played this one before. I'm not familiar with the actual game, but I am actively collecting as many of the games from this series as I can possibly get. So there's that. And then in line with that is what is essentially, and I don't know what the Japanese translation for it is, but it is the Japanese version of River City Ransom for the Game Boy, Japanese Game Boy. Something I mentioned in the past is I go on eBay, I find auctions that I'm interested in, I'll put a minimum bid pretty much as a placeholder and a reminder. Once it gets down to 5 minutes to the end of the auction, I'll get a notification on my phone. I'll look at it. If it's still cheap, I'll keep bidding. If not, no big deal, right? So a couple games that didn't get any other bids are sealed copies of White Men Can't Jump for the Atari Jaguar, and this comes with the, I believe it's a 4-player adapter. Very cool. Never played that before. And a sealed copy of Bubsy Fractured Furry Tales. Good old Bubsy. Again, I was the only bidder. They were really cheap. I'll take them. Some Sega Master System stuff. Got a copy of Vigilante. And this is complete and in pretty decent condition. And I don't know. I've been looking for Vigilante for the TurboGrafx 16, and I saw this, and this was like 12 bucks shipped, something like that. So I picked it up. Still haven't got my copy of Vigilante for the TG16. I will one day. Another lot that I came across. Kind of regret this because the games aren't in as good as condition as I thought. The pictures were crappy. My bad on that one. So, Alex Kidd in Hi-Tech World. Rambo 3. I didn't have these two. Well, I didn't have any of these actually. But I don't collect loose Master System games, so I'm going to have to upgrade those or find the boxes and manual somewhere. Copy of My Hero, and this is one of those Sega cards, which is, you know, kind of cool, reminiscent of the TurboGrafx 16. This did not come with a manual, and something that was not mentioned in the listing is there's a big tear in the label. Messes the seller, didn't message me back, so, you know, taking appropriate action there. And a copy of Tom and Jerry the movie. I do not know my Master System stuff as well as I know my NES stuff. I want to say that this was not released in the US, but I'm not 100% sure. It was a pretty late release too. It was 92. I don't know that they were still putting out Master System games that late. But anyway, I digress. It doesn't matter. So the last thing I got was, you know, relatively cheap for what it is. This is one of the more difficult boxes for me to find. But I got a boxed NES power set. Everything is in there in pretty decent shape. And it also came with a sealed NES 4-score. I don't really care about this that much, but this was one of the last NES boxes that I've been searching for. I know there's a couple more that I don't have, but I got my control deck, I got my challenge set, I got 3 action sets. 2 of them are with the orange gun, 1 with the gray gun. I got my deluxe set. So that's the last one that I actually really care about. There were some issues with the Nintendo itself. It was missing a little plastic piece covering the expansion port on the bottom. And the reset button seems to have a short in it. I messaged the seller. They were very courteous. Told me I could just send it back for a refund, or they asked if there was any other options that I wanted to go through. I asked, you know, if they wanted to give a small partial refund, you know, whatever they were comfortable with giving, I would take it. And the lady went into this long rant about how, I assume it was a lady because it was a female's name, but about how she was having her 4th kid and she was selling off all her stuff in order to pay for a new vehicle with a 4th row, and you know, all this long-winded nonsense, no punctuation, all caps, just didn't make any sense after that. So, you know, I'm not really gonna, I don't want to send it back. I think it was like 167 shipped, and she said she paid like 30 bucks just to ship it. So I was like, yeah, I'm not gonna send it back just for like a $5 replacement piece and maybe some minor soldering. So, you know, whatever. I'll leave appropriate feedback and we'll end it there. But that is all I got for this week. It's actually Saturday night. I wound up not shooting a video last night because I was working on a major deal, which took up a good chunk of my night. It's not finalized yet, but if it is finalized, next week's pickup video with all the stuff that I got today, it's going to be kick-ass. I mean, it's going to be fucking ridiculous. Anyway, that's it for this week's video. I'm going to try to chop it down to make it less than 10 minutes, and hopefully I can stick to that. Last week's was long as hell, and I didn't even want to sit through it while I was editing it, so I can't imagine what you guys were feeling watching it. Again, Saturday night, got to go through my routine, gonna go hit the gym, gonna shoot some hoops, probably run a few miles on the treadmill. I'll catch you guys next weekend.